because when they went to Sam's in the city of Lakeland to steal, they actually robbed the clerk, injuring her hand. They had loaded this high-end liquor into a basket and were trying to leave with it. She tried to stop them. They literally ran into her, injured her hand, and fled. The Lakeland Police Department immediately started an investigation, learned when they fled, they damaged their vehicle, which ended up in a crash, and then they scattered like rats on a sinking ship. They ultimately got an Uber and fled. Lakeland Police Department had suspects, and they were onto this case. They worked hand in glove with us. We explained to them there was a long-term investigation that we were doing as well, and they wanted to make sure that not only did they have a successful arrest, but that they worked with us so that we could wrap up this entire organization. But I want to stop just a minute. It's not just the Lakeland Police Department and the Sheriff's Office. It's DHS. They were involved in this investigation. The Orange and Osceola Sheriff's Office was involved in this investigation. Florida Department of Law Enforcement was involved in this investigation. The U.S. Marshals Task Force was involved in this investigation. ICE put holes on all of these folks, and I'm going to talk in detail about that in just a few minutes. The statewide prosecutor is working with us, and our detectives are currently working with them because we're seeking to file not only organized retail theft charges, not only robbery charges, we're seeking also to file racketeering charges, which is a 30-year minimum mandatory. We couldn't do that without the cooperation of first our state attorney's office and ultimately our Florida statewide prosecutors, who works under James Uthmeyer, our Attorney General. So when you look at this investigation and you look at all these investigations, no one agency does this. So I want to underscore and recognize each of them. Osceola, Orange, when we were picking up 3 of the 5, 2 were already in custody in Osceola County, by the way, for a robbery. They sent teams of people out to help us with surveillance and with entry to make sure that we had sufficient help to do this appropriately, because these folks are violent and they're dangerous. But once again, I want to introduce you to the different individuals that you see here. And I'll start with Samuel Charlie. He's 25. He is a documented member of this gang task force, of this gang. We have designated him as a terrorist federally. He has a criminal history in this country. We don't know about his criminal history in Venezuela. He came here through El Paso in 2023, walked into the border. It was wide open. It was not difficult. He was one of the leaders in these theft operations. He's unemployed, and that's a common theme you'll hear throughout the day. None of these people are working in the United States, but they're living high. So what does that tell you? They're committing crime. They came here illegally through the Biden open border, all but, I believe, one. They're robbing and stealing from those of us in the United States who behave. And at the end of the day, we didn't have to search far for him because he was already in the Osceola County Jail, charged with a robbery that occurred during the period of time we were investigating this organized retail theft crew. Then there was Ramon Luna. He's 26. He is an associate. So why do we call him an associate? Because he has not been certified yet, but he's running with these gang members. When we finish our investigations and we finish working with the feds, We anticipate that all of these folks will be documented as gang members. Only 2 are, but he's an associate of theirs now. Interestingly enough, even though they claim not to have known each other, guess when he came through the same month, September 2023, in El Paso, illegally. And as the end of the day, you're going to see pictures at the end of them partying. They've got time to steal, they've got time to rob, they've got time to party in this country, all while they're here illegally, all while they were allowed to just walk into this country. Then there's Aldemaro Mendoza. He's 26. He is also an associate. Now, he's the exception. He came in 2016 as a Detroit Tiger minor league prospect. He didn't make it. He didn't even make it to the minor leagues, but he was a prospect when he was brought here. And guess what? He failed to deport. So while he had a legal status in 2016, he failed to deport. Now listen, 2016 to 2025, okay, I'm not real good at math, but that's about 9 years, right? The federal government has him in deportation procedures, but in 9 years, they can't get him out of here? Come on, man. If you don't think the federal immigration system is messed up, here's your sign. All the while, he wasn't hard to find because he was in the Osceola jail for robbery. That's right. Charlie and Mendoza together robbed a person at gunpoint in Osceola County, neither of which should have been here. Then there's Darwin's Leon. He's 28. He's also an associate. He crossed in December of 2021 at El Paso. There was a warrant for removal for him. But despite that warrant for removal, he was here wandering around, committing robberies, committing organized theft, partying. We also know that he was in Aurora, Colorado at the time of the takeover of the apartments. We cannot, and I underscore, we cannot tie him directly to the TDA that was doing the takeover, but he was there during that time period, and he was an associate, and he's running with them. He's also showed up in other areas of the country. So is he employed? Of course, none of them are employed, because why bother working when you can come here illegally and just steal from those of us in this country? Then there's Alexis Benavides, who's 27. He's a documented TDA member. He's also, I might highlight, currently a suspect in a murder in New Mexico. But he's also been to Illinois. You know that state that thinks you ought to protect illegal immigrants? Maybe there are other suspected murderers in Illinois they want to protect. I mean, just thinking out loud. He's supposed to be higher up in the organization. And when I asked, what does higher up mean? They just said, well, I said, is he a leader? Is he a boss? No, he's just well respected and higher up in the organization. So when did he come across? August 2023 at El Paso once again. So while he's got a criminal history in Illinois, we don't know what their criminal histories are out of the country, but he's pending a federal warrant for removal. So at the end of this operation, we have these 5 people who are in this country illegally. And not only are they in this country illegally, they're not working, they're not pretending to work, but they're stealing. One of my detectives, and by the way, my detectives are the very best, and this is just one more example of their brilliant work and their relationships with other federal, state, and local law enforcement and prosecuting groups, said, They continued as the investigation went on and we tried to tie them together. They continued to become more violent and more violent and more violent. Now we know there should be one map here that shows the state of Florida and the different areas. So regardless, we don't know what all they did in Illinois. We don't know what all they did for sure in New Mexico. But what we do know is the whole time they're here, they're committing crime. And that is just one more example of that.
Voilà, autorité responsable au niveau shérif par 41 qui au même a présenté une équipe bandit qui participait dans ces deux crimes dans le pays qui c'est également des migrants illégaux qui sorti Venezuela particulièrement qui engagé dans un groupe bandit criminel qui a simé la terreur en dedans pays les États-Unis, volé, pillé, kidnappé selon sa responsable fait connaître. N'a toujours été dans l'actualité à ici pour une fois connaître que gagné vice-président américain qui voyageait en Italie pour le rencontrer ensemble avec chef de gouvernement italien qui était pas ici en visite hier. Dans occasion ça, plusieurs points discutés entre États-Unis et Italie dans ce qui concerne les relations de pays, mais il y a chita surtout sur ce qui concerne les tarifs douaniers. Dernière décision que chef d'État a pris pour augmenter taxes sous produits qui sont sortis dans pays étrangers qui avaient une vente ici aux États-Unis d'Amérique. Marco Rubio, chef de diplomatie américaine, a quitté la France pour le retourner. Après ces jours qu'il était passé dans le pays de la France, discuter ensemble avec l'autorité pays Charles de Gaulle. Dans ça, il y a une discussion qui fait autour de situation ukrainienne qui implique l'Europe qui gagne un plan pour l'aider à sécuriser le territoire ukrainien dans la bataille contre la Russie de Vladimir Poutine. Merci tout le monde qui était ensemble avec nous. Nous espérons porter pour plus de détails un peu plus tard à partir de 1h30, puisque à 12h, seulement aujourd'hui, il pourra ensemble avec vous pour présenter devant le trône. Pas oublier jeudi à ses 5e paroles parmi les 7 déclarations de Christ, sous quoi avant que les terrains soufflent. Nous disons tout le monde merci. Appelez-nous un peu plus tard.